What? Okay, okay. I don't know if it's the clouding, but to me, it seems like literally the top half of her body is gone. Like it's just like ribs downwards. That's all that's left. No arms, no head, no torso. Yeah, that was overkill, Usopp. What's going on? My name is Flip, and man, oh man, I am once again beneath the rays of the sun god, and I am so glad to have another One Piece chapter. I am moving next week from the moon to some country, okay? And so this is probably one of the last times you'll see me in this usual place, like for at least like a good while. Um, so like maybe next chapter I'll do the reaction here, but whatever. What happened last time? Last time we got they saved the children. Gunko actually managed to get on board Usopp's ship, with Colin and Nami and Brook and Jinbei, I think was there too. So those are the people that are there that are fighting. And Chopper's not there. No, Chopper's not there. So it's this little rag team group that are gonna have to fight Gunko, who I still believe is Emu. I'm still very convinced. So as much as I want them to get a win against like a commander like this, I don't think she's a commander. I think she's literally the commander. So they have no chance. Okay. So that's one thing. They mentioned Big Mom like big time. Like this is one of the biggest like, you know, Big Mom introductions that we've had in Elbaf so far. And we also got Loki, just talking about like his relationship to rocks and whatever. So that's just a little bit of what it is. Anyways, without further delay, let's head right into the chapter because okay, we do have a beautiful color spread. It's actually one of the most beautiful color spreads I've seen, in my opinion. It says Elbaf very, very you can barely see it at the bottom, and it's written. I don't know why it keeps written it with PH because it's written with an F because it's supposed to be Fable backwards. So I don't get where the whole PH thing came from. But it's very beautiful. It's Loki in the background looking like he's the villain, which he isn't. More than likely, he's not. Oh, the sun is shining even more on me as we see Luffy. So let's head right into the chapter with the sun now on my face bigger than ever in our final chapter in this place. Anyways, let's head right into chapter 1146, A Stir in the Silence. And so we get Oni-chan Yamato on the Holy Narishan Grand Pilgrimage. We owe you our lives. Please let us serve you. And so that is to Yamato specifically. It's Ulti talking. So Ulti has become one of Yamato's vassals, and by extension, Peyton, because he's not gonna say anything to his older sister. So it's really nice because I've always wanted her to be good. Because for some reason I ship Ulti with Usopp. I don't know why, but it's just I always found it funny, especially when he said he was the one that tamed. It was a weird wording in Japanese, but like he said something about like taming them slash defeating the brothers. So the siblings. So like that would be like one thing. Anyways, okay, on to the chapter. So we cut right to Usopp, an enemy encounter. And Usopp goes, "Who the heck is that?" So he's talking about, of course, Gunko. It must be. So that's Jinbei talking. And Nami goes, "The intruder." And Colin goes, "The intruder." The human intruders, the ones who totally outclassed the castle guards. What is your deal? You're behind the kidnappings, aren't you? Did you just say human? Gonko's not human. Because it's Emu. It's Emu. I'm saying it right now. I've said it since the beginning. The once. Oh wait, I already. Oh, so and as she says that, we cut to Brooke, who's also human, but like he's a skeleton. We are gods. And Usopp goes, "Gods? You sound like Eneru or one of those celestial dragons. Why would a god go after the children of Elbaf?" So that's Nami talking. Yeah, they are my friends. Colon. Okay. Where are you taking them? Let them go. And so Gunko says, a child like you should know when to hold their tongue. Even for us, a clean abduction isn't feasible given the sheer size of our quarry. Okay, and so as they say that, we are seeing the other people fighting. So we see that the sales nightmare fall down to the ground, with a lot of lightning coming through as Frankie is shooting at it on the back of what was her name? The Yarsan's wife. I forgot her name. Ripley. Ripley's her name. And so on the back is also Bonnie and Lilith. Okay, and so we cut from that and we go back to Gunko, and she says, our only option to ensure passage to the Holy Land was to have them walk themselves over there. Over here. Oh, okay. Interesting, interesting. The Holy Land. You mean Marijua? The fact that Nami knows her stuff. You are celestial dragons. No way. They are the worst. She's nothing like the ones I was picturing, though. So, of course, Usopp mentions that specifically because he's one of the two people that that has punched a celestial dragon. I mean, Luffy punched Carlos, but he fell directly on top of Roswald. Uh, Usopp. I'm afraid this one likely holds an even higher rank, a God's Knight. Dude, the fact that okay, Brooke has been around for ages now. Okay, he's been around since before Roger. So the fact that he knows about God's Knight, especially when he's been inside the Florian Triangle for 50 years, is impressive. Like it speaks volumes. Okay, and so she unsheaths her bandages and goes, indeed. Oh, okay. And Usopp goes, don't tell me you're gonna force those kids into slavery. In mid sentence, before he finishes saying into slavery, which he does finish, you already see the arrow go straight for his jugular. Holy shit. Wow, what the heck is that arrow thing? And so he steps back from it and he now facing the arrow. We won't let you. Souse! You called Nami? Oh, okay. So the arrow doesn't seem to hurt, but instead it just like point and do something. So it's just locked onto Usopp. And I think what's about to happen is that Nami's gonna try and use Zeus on Gunko, and it's just gonna go directly onto Usopp. Is what I'm guessing. What? Go away! It won't stop chasing me. Thunder Shark. What tempo? Okay, and Zeus literally becomes a shark. Just an electric shark storm cloud. Uh what? This world was meant to simply vanish one day. And so Sales turns around, as he said, going towards Usopp is as I was expecting. That's how it was supposed to go. The world was meant to vanish, was meant to simply vanish one day. That's how it was supposed to go. Run, Nami! Kya, I'm sorry. And so Nami is immediately like knocked out by her own attack. Nami! Oh, it was me. And so we see Nami go and Brooke all down to burnt to a crisp, just like as well. Thank you. However, some among the humans realize what lay in store, and so we see Clover, we see Olvia, Nico Olvia, and we see Vegapunk, and they made sure the entire world would know. Okay. However, some among the humans realized what lay in store, and they made sure the entire world would know. It's interesting. It feels like she's divulging a lot for a God Knight, and especially also knows a lot for a God Knight. I'm pretty sure. Like I'm just reiterating. Every time I see this, I think more and more. This is emo. I've been saying this for so long now. And every chapter is just more evident to me. And so Usopp is now like pretty much like the only. I mean, he is now standing without any fear on his. I mean, he has some fear, but like he's going. He's attacking her. Take that. And so a giant like one of his attacks of like a giant death cloud. I don't know what to call it. I don't know the name of the attack. He does it on Gunko. Take that. So it's the only attack that actually gets through. Like that's just how much of a good sniper he is because he can just go around the arrow. I'm guessing. We're not afraid of celestial dragons, you bastard, dude. This is Usopp talking. That is crazy. What? Okay, okay. I don't know if it's the clouding, but to me, it seems like literally the top half of her body is gone. Like it's just like ribs downwards. That's all that's left. No arms, no head, no torso. Yeah, that was overkill, Usopp. It completely blew away her top half. I am so sorry. Usopp, that's so funny. Huh? What? She's regenerating. I feel bad for her, but this is creepy. So that's Nami talking. And Brooke goes, I must say, it is rather unnerving to see the dead rise. Holy shit. And so she says, Gunko, once it starts, and so Nami and Usopp naturally are the ones scared of this. Uh, once it starts, it cannot be undone. And so she starts gliding, like riding the arrow that was locked onto Usopp. No one can stop it. So Usopp screams and goes, I knew it! The arrow must point to her target. And so, okay, Jinbei goes, leave it to me, Usopp. And Brook goes, an attack that telegraphs itself. How absurd. The countdown has started. And as she says that, we get this pan out of the ship on which we're on. No, no, this is the ship, the Elric. So we get this pan out of the Elric, surrounded by the Bragur, the ghost, the giant bird thing, and then the giant dragon. Okay, the world is already entangled in the opening salvo of the coming Great War. The world is already entangled in the opening salvo of the great coming war. So we're talking about what we've called the final war. We've talked about this upcoming hypothetical arc that we've all known about. We've all called it final war, but it seems to be called the the coming great war. Okay, interesting. And so we get while she's saying that, we get this panel of Dory Bragi and all the giants on the Arik just dealing with the Bragur and all these nightmares, right? Weirdly enough, still missing Big Mom. It's the only one, the only nightmare that we still haven't seen even be touched or appeared or nothing. It is said the giant's allegiance will greatly shape how the conflict unfolds this time. So she's saying this time, as in knowing that this shit has happened before in the past. And I wonder how much the actual God Knights know, because again, and I can't reiterate this enough, I feel like she knows way more than some high level grunts should know. I'm not gonna call them low level, they're high level grunts. And especially for one that doesn't even have the Saint in her name, because she's not Saint Gunko, like Saint Killingham, Saint Summers. She's simply Gunko. So based on that, she should be lower rank than every other God Knight, and yet she feels like the commanding officer, even though she clearly isn't, because the commander officer is Shamrock. Okay, so as she says, the giant allegiances will greatly shape how the conflict unfolds this time. We see Loki completely fat and just bulked up, alongside Luffy, who is also completely fat and bulked up. Okay, so we cut back to our heroes over here. Nami goes, a worldwide war. That's never going to happen. I mean, I think that it's happened like twice already. So this plot was to take the kids as hostages and put Elbaf under your thumb. That is beyond cowardly. So Jinbei said that, and we're cutting to Gunko, and she's saying, I am merely carrying out the mission. It may well turn out to be a fruitless endeavor. I don't particularly understand the concept of hostages. The lives of a few children are as worthless as trash to me. Dude, she's talking very emu like, but it seems to me this is the kind of thing Emu would say if she was being convinced by the Gorosei strategically. Because Emu hasn't been shown to be someone that's strategic, right? They just want like, oh, let's just destroy this place. I don't care. But like the Gorosei feel more like actual strategists, and I still don't see. We still haven't seen um what what's his name Garling, what Garling's whole way of like fighting and strategizing is. He seems very strategic, so I don't know. Um, and so they go, "What is wrong with you, you fiend?" And so Colin is about to strike on her, but immediately interrupted. Oh, not even just interrupted, but completely choked out by the arrow. I didn't think the arrow would be able to touch anyone. Colin, and so 5,000 brick. Gavote. Oh, flip and flip. Oh, so she snipped the arrows in order to turn two different arrows um placed in front of Jinbei and Brooke, who were doing the 5,000 arabesque gavote and gavote, right? So they would each punch and puncture each other. Aloe, faded arrow, and so Gunko. Okay, I don't get the anatomy of like how she's doing this, but like it seems to me she has her arms like this and they're completely dislodged from her body, just like completely disintegrated into arrows and stuff. That's what it seems to me. And now an arrow is stuck on Nami, and so she uses it to direct into her face and boom, out. So it seems the only one that's left is Usopp. Okay? So the arrow from earlier is still locked onto him, and he says, "Damn you, Bush." So she goes beneath the arrow in order to dodge his attack. Okay, Gonko, Usopp about to block with his hand like this. It's not even block, but like just flinch, and she's about to go down on him. Boom! Completely right here, and I don't know where he. Okay, they all fall. Well, zzz, are you ready, killing them? And so all four of them fall out of the ship, it seems, and Colin is being dragged away by his neck onto where Killingham is. Are you ready, Killingham? To tell you the truth, Elbaf's communication network is limited. And so we see a shot of all our heroes falling, just like each of their faces, and Usopp seems to have like an imprint of Gonko's foot on his face. Very very interesting. It's a shame, but at least they have one of these at important points in each village. It's a shame, but at least they have one of these at important points in each village. Oh, I think they're talking about the transponder snails, the telediction snails. I think they were called. Principal Kiba. Ah, oh my, those are quite sharp. So Principal Kiba is fighting Killingham. Killingham knocked him out completely, broke his tusks off. Principal, I can't move. And so the giants are out. The giants here are out. And so okay, Killingham goes. That's because I use sleep paralysis on you, dude. This guy is powerful. This guy is way too powerful. He still doesn't. We still haven't seen his weakness. He has to have a weakness, right? Um, or at least like restriction, because even Utas had one. So this big old thing is a telediction snail, huh? Never heard of it. Summers, try talking through it. You should be able to transmit nationwide. Got it. Okay? So Summers goes, but I'm gonna need a second killing gum. This one should go down soon. And so we cut to a field of thorns, him having like a cannibal with like a lot of spikes, and just in front of Saul, as he says, he's a former vice admiral. I thought you had died on O'Hara. And so Saul is here, and of course, as we know, all vice admirals have at least two forms of haki. And I don't know if he has conquerors. Maybe he does. Robin, Chopper, don't move. Stay hidden in my hair. So, dude, the fact that these two know to a degree that they can't beat Summers, that is wild. No, not with Demonio Fleur, not with Monster Point. I feel like this is probably like the point for them to grow. At least Chopper, right? Um, the children. I'm begging you, take care of them. Gee, come on, it's time for your final charge. Hey, you hear that? Gee! And so Robin is not crying yet, but like she is clearly distressed. Um, a school library. You should have cut the peaceful crap. You're meant to be a warrior. You're meant to be warriors. There was a time when your people's might shook the world. You were supposed to be our mercenaries, right, Harold? King Harold, that bastard. He really messed everything up. What could the noble king have done? Okay. Chapter 1146 end. I want to reread what they last said. Okay, there was a time when your people's might shook the world. You were supposed to be our mercenaries, right, Harold? A school library. A school? A library? You should have cut the peaceful crap. You're meant to be warriors. Oh, okay. So it seems to me, right? There was a time when your people's might shook the world. You were supposed to be our mercenaries, right, Harold? So this is the second time in One Piece that we have seen the giants be referred to as mercenaries, right? The first time being with the Cross Guild, right? Where they used to be like the biggest mercenaries that Buggy had, but now we are cutting to like, after Dressrosa, they disbanded from them, just left them behind to follow a better cause, to follow the cause of Luffy. So it would seem to me that Harold, at least at the time, was a similar way, and he they were the mercenaries, right? For them, for the government, for the world government, and they took off. But it's weird because it depends how old Harold is. I'm gonna think, because if this is from the perspective of Summers, he doesn't look older than like 47, I would say. So like, it's interesting. I might think and consider the idea that Harold, because this is something that was mentioned a couple chapters ago, that Loki specifically states that he didn't actually, or like at least assumed the idea that he didn't murder his father, like just cause, like for like bad reasons, or like he said in cold blood, right? So this is my idea. It's just a general thought that I'm having. What if um he came to the conclusion, like like people already treated Loki like this deviant in the world, like not just in Elbaf but like in general. People knew that Loki was just an emotionless crap bag that would like actively, just cause trouble, and like he didn't really care about anyone. So like it would be the perfect story and the perfect patsy to like completely destroy the regime of um King Harold being the guy that, the mercenaries for the world government. If they don't want to be associated with the world government without destroying Elbaf, which, rebelling against the world government would cause that, right? But if the person that their liaison, per se, being Harold, if he is gone, then no one really betrayed the world government, and thus there would be no need to destroy the giants or Elbaf. You get me? So like I would not be surprised if Harold asked Loki to kill him with the intent of establishing that narrative for the future. Just like as a story for the world government in order to be able to have them become a peaceful nation rather than a nation of mercenaries, a nation of war that's made to help these literal pieces of shit that are the celestial dragons of the world government. That's what I'm guessing. And through Loki, like at the beginning of the arc, they try to recruit Loki into the Celestial Dragons. I'm guessing it's similar thing to that because they know Loki doesn't care about a lot of things, and he is the most powerful giant there. So like, it would seem to me for sure that they tried to turn Loki into the new, uh, the new Herald in this situation, and of course Loki refused that because and that's the reason that he says they are complete scum that he would never like be a part of because he knows what his father went through. He knows everything. That is my like actual guess. Um and like the other thing is we're focusing a lot on Emu. Now I'm calling her Emu on Gunko, and I'm legitimately like with every passing minute I'm more sure because I don't think even within the celestial dragons there's no one that shares this level of philosophy like Gunko does. Because Gunko does like Emu, like there's no one like Gunko and Emu that has that same philosophy, right? Not even like within the God Knights or the Gorosei or nothing. These these two feel like, at least I wouldn't even call it two sides of the same coin. They feel like the man behind the mask. That's what that feels like to me, which is very ironic because I am the man behind the mask. But like, yeah, it feels to me like for sure that has to be Emu. I can't shake it. Like I can't not see it. And even like the whole regeneration thing that was like pretty shadow like, dude, that is Emu. Like I don't. There's no amount of like little circle summoning circle thing or like arrow thing because the arrow is a paramecia. That's not a logia. There is no way that unless that's Emu, that I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I I'm like 99.9% sure Gongo's Emu. Like at this point, all I need, all I need is to be confirmed, just to be said. I cannot shake it for the life of me. So I don't know. I don't really have any more thoughts on this chapter. This was a very good chapter, even for like Usopp, just like a good redemption chapter overall. I'm very excited, and I hope to see more. Even though he was obviously gonna be defeated, like I don't think even like Sanji could have done much here, because it was very evident with Jinbei. Like Jinbei, even he was caught off guard, and they weren't like knocked out or anything. They were just booted out of the ship. They literally fell off. The only one that could have potentially returned would have been Luffy and Sanji, but like still, I don't know. It's odd. I still want to see Big Mom as well. Those are the only that's the only things that I think I have for this chapter. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you have any other thoughts, if you don't think Gunko's emo at this point, I don't know how you don't think it, but like if you don't think it, tell me in the comments. Tell me like what you guys think. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another country and on the flip side. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.